Have you ever considered that the people who come into your life might be part of God's grand design? Sometimes situations seem impossible to understand, yet they bring you closer to someone who feels destined to be part of your journey. Could this be a divine orchestration? In this video, we'll explore the undeniable signs that God is guiding you and someone special together. Don't look away, as you may recognize a miraculous touch in your own life. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications so you won't miss our profound discussions on faith and living. God is always with us, guiding every detail of our lives, from the smallest moments to the most pivotal decisions. However, many fail to recognize or believe in this truth. God's love extends far beyond what we can comprehend, and He constantly offers silent guidance to help us stay on the right path. Marriage is not just a joining of two people. It is a powerful symbol of the relationship between Christ and His church. This is why God has established clear and elevated standards for marriage, desiring it to be a living representation of His love and commitment. By opening your heart to God's guidance, you will begin to recognize the signs He gives to lead you to the right person to share your life with. Here are some unmistakable signs you might observe when God is preparing a unique relationship for you. Let's explore how you can recognize His perfect plan. When God has a purpose to guide you to someone special, He will leave clear and unforgettable signs, helping you recognize His direction amidst the vast options in life. So how can you know that this is God's message? It depends a great deal on your closeness to Him and your ability to listen with sensitivity. God does not communicate with everyone in the same way. He knows each person uniquely and understands the best way for us to sense His presence. When something as important as marriage is involved, He will be especially patient and clear to make sure you don't get confused or lose your way. It's similar to how you immediately recognize the voice of someone you care about deeply. At first, you might feel uncertain, but through repeated encounters, you start becoming more familiar with the person, to the point where even the faintest sound is enough for you to recognize them. This is similar to how communication with God evolves. It requires time, connection, and trust. Here are some unmistakable signs you might observe when God is preparing a unique relationship for you. Let's explore how you can recognize His perfect plan. If you dream of this person repeatedly, accompanied by an unusual sense of warmth, it could very well be God guiding you. Alternatively, loved ones or friends might unexpectedly mention that you and this person make a wonderful couple, almost as if the universe itself is affirming His intention. Over time, you will begin to notice events in your life circling around this person. These may include chance encounters, suggestions from people you trust, or the feeling that their presence is linked to positive things happening in your life. The most profound sign is the peace and trust you feel when thinking about them. God will never leave you confused or uncertain. Instead, He will reassure you with repeated messages, enough to make you feel confident that this is the person He has chosen for you. To recognize these signs, you must be open-hearted, attentive, and ready to accept God's guidance. Every sign, every reminder, is His way of helping you find that missing piece of your life. Trust, and you'll soon see the miracles unfolding in your life. When God prepares the right person for you, everything will feel right and will naturally fall into place in an almost surreal way. Your emotions for this person will be clear and unambiguous, radiating certainty and depth straight from your heart. While the weight of such a decision might sometimes make you doubt, one thing will remain clear: deep in your heart, you'll know this is the one. This realization often comes with hands-on experiences where you interact with the person in different contexts. Through these encounters, you'll recognize how perfectly you both connect, as though everything had been orchestrated. You'll feel an odd sense of confidence that God has prepared everything meticulously for you both. It won't just be your deep connection. The other person will feel it too, creating an unspoken harmony between you. Take inspiration from the Bible to demonstrate this through the stories of Adam and Eve, as well as Isaac and Rebekah. Don't forget to like and share this video with someone you trust, so they too can learn from these inspiring marriage stories. The story of Adam and Eve begins with the creation of the world. According to Genesis, Adam was the first man created by God from the dust of the earth, and God breathed life into him. Adam lived in the Garden of Eden, where everything was perfect, but God recognized that it is not good for the man to be alone. Genesis 2:18, and decided to make a suitable partner for him. To accomplish this, God put Adam into a deep sleep, took one of his ribs, and created the first woman, Eve. Upon waking and seeing her, Adam exclaimed, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man." Genesis 2:23. This statement not only recognizes their shared creation, but also symbolizes the profound connection between them, as if they were created to be together. The relationship between Adam and Eve is a beautiful reflection of God's design for marriage, a sacred and indivisible union. The story of Isaac and Rebekah in Genesis 24 serves as another example of God's guidance in love and marriage. After Isaac's mother, Sarah, passed away, Abraham knew it was time for his son to have a wife. However, Abraham did not want Isaac to marry a Canaanite woman, even though their family lived in Canaan. He preferred that the bride come from his own homeland and family. Abraham sent his faithful servant, traditionally believed to be Eliezer, to Paddan Aram with the task of finding a wife for Isaac. Before reaching his destination, the servant prayed to God for a sign, saying, "Let the young woman to whom I say, 'Please let down your jar that I may drink,' and she answers, 'Drink, and I will also water your camels.' Let her be the one you have appointed for your servant Isaac." Genesis 24:14. As soon as the prayer was uttered, Rebekah appeared with a jar on her shoulder. When asked for a drink, she not only offered water to the servant, but also quickly drew water for his camels. Her hospitality and generosity confirmed that she was the one chosen by God. After learning that Rebekah was from Abraham's family, the servant asked her family to allow her to go with him. When Isaac met Rebekah, she covered her face as a sign of humility and readiness for marriage. Isaac, upon seeing her, immediately recognized that she was the one God had chosen for him. The Bible states that Isaac loved Rebekah and was comforted after the loss of his mother. Isaac married Rebekah, and she became his wife. He loved her, and Isaac was comforted after the death of his mother. Genesis 24:67. These stories exemplify not only love, but also divine guidance in choosing a life partner. Through the tales of Adam and Eve and Isaac and Rebekah, we see that when God is at work, everything happens naturally and perfectly, leading to harmony and blessings in marriage. Third, to gain a deeper understanding of how our relationship with God impacts our choice of a spouse and the course of our marriage, we must acknowledge that this relationship is the bedrock of all other relationships in our lives. Our relationship with God is not just a part of our lives. It is the central influence that shapes all our actions and decisions. In the context of marriage, which God has designed as a holy and sacred bond, it is clear that a firm relationship with God is vital to making wise decisions in choosing a spouse. God calls us to marry people who have a strong, committed faith. One of the foundational truths about marriage in Scripture is that we should marry those who are devoted to God and earnestly seek His will. This is critical because marrying someone without faith in God can lead us into error, pushing us away from God and weakening our faith. The Bible also stresses that marrying someone who does not believe in God may cause our hearts to be drawn away from God. 1 Corinthians 6:14, which is why God advises us against being tied to individuals who do not share our spiritual goals or respect for God. How does God guide us when choosing a spouse? As you search for a partner, God will not leave you to make the decision alone. He will lead you through unmistakable signs. These signs can appear in many forms: dreams, inner feelings, or even a profound connection you experience when meeting the person. Most importantly, this person must be someone who values God and ensures that the relationship remains aligned with His will. You will feel that, when with this person, your closeness to God grows, and instead of feeling tempted or pulled toward wrongdoing, you'll be encouraged to live according to God's direction. Marriage and your relationship with God are interdependent. God's greatest lesson is that our relationship with Him should always come before our relationship with a spouse. Marriage, while important, isn't the ultimate priority. Our relationship with God is the cornerstone that defines all other relationships, including marriage. A deep relationship with God is key to recognizing the right partner. A healthy marriage doesn't pull you away from God. It strengthens your bond with Him. You'll know that the right spouse is someone who supports your faith, encourages you to grow in love, and walks with you in your spiritual journey. Signs of a relationship that brings you closer to God. When you are with the person God intends for you, that relationship will strengthen your faith. This partner will not only be a companion in life's everyday matters, but also a spiritual ally, helping you develop a deeper understanding of God's will. Your relationship with this person won't distract you from God, but rather it will strengthen your faith and guide you to live according to His principles. They will encourage you to pray, read the Bible, and live in accordance with God's will. The relationship with God must always come first before marriage. Above all, we must remember that our relationship with God should always be the top priority. God doesn't want us to seek marriage for personal or societal reasons. He wants us to have a strong, solid relationship with Him as the foundation. Only when we truly live under God's guidance can we have a solid and thriving marriage, because every part of our life flows from that relationship. Keeping God at the center of your life and marriage will not only ensure success, but it will also bring His blessing. In conclusion, while marriage is a key part of God's plan, it's only by prioritizing God and listening to His guidance that we can find a truly compatible partner. A relationship with God is the key to building a happy and enduring marriage. Lastly, God has a clear and orderly plan for each person's life, not just in areas like career or ministry, but also in marriage. He doesn't simply guide us in finding a partner, but He prepares us, shaping us into individuals worthy and mature enough to walk with the spouse He has prepared for us. This preparation is not by chance or coincidence. Each step and lesson we experience is a part of God's grand plan to shape us into the best partner for the one He has for us. God prepares us before we meet our spouse. One key thing we must realize is that God always prepares us before bringing us into a relationship. He never leaves us without His guidance in the search for our partner. The reason many of us miss this truth is that we become too focused on our own desires and impatience. God is a God of order and has clear principles and plans for our lives. He does not act arbitrarily or by chance. Every challenge and lesson in our lives is designed to prepare us to walk alongside the partner God has chosen and build a firm foundation with them. The mistake of rushing ahead without allowing God to prepare us. Many people fall into the trap of impatience when choosing a partner, feeling lonely and in a hurry to find a relationship. They fail to wait for God's preparation, leading to decisions they may regret. Each stage in life is a divine opportunity to grow, mature, and develop our relationship with God. Neglecting to walk with Him in crucial areas, such as our career, faith, and marriage, leaves us unprepared for the spouse God has already planned for us. Marriage is not just the coming together of two people. It is the union of two individuals who have been prepared by God, matured enough to support and nurture each other in faith and love. God is shaping both us and our future spouse. It's remarkable that as God works on us, He is simultaneously preparing the one He has destined for us. While each person's growth journey is unique, God will guide both of us through the necessary lessons and challenges to help us unite and build a relationship that will endure. The foundation of our relationship with God is unshakable. What we must understand is that our relationship with God serves as the solid foundation for all other relationships, including marriage. God's role is not only to help us find our spouse, but to prepare us to be loving, respectful, and spiritually grounded partners who honor Him in every aspect of our relationship. When we are aligned with God, we will see that the spouse He has for us is the one who will walk with us to build a relationship that strengthens our faith and love. God's preparation is not just an individual process, but a vital part of His overarching plan, helping us recognize the spouse He has designed for us. He wants us to be mature and steadfast enough to live a marriage full of love and faith, where He is the central focus, and everything we do honors Him. If we truly desire to follow God's guidance about the spouse He has planned for us, we must pay attention and apply essential principles to our daily lives. Here are 3 important steps we should take to clearly recognize God's direction in our journey toward marriage. First, spend time seeking God through prayer and meditation. God is always ready to lead us, but it is vital that we listen and seek His guidance in every aspect of our lives. Taking personal time to pray and reflect on major decisions, especially concerning marriage, is crucial. God will not lead us in vague ways. He will guide us through deep feelings, thoughts, and even through clear signs in our daily experiences. Prayer clears our minds, removes confusion, and creates room for God to speak more directly to us. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. James 1:5. Second, cultivate patience and trust in God's timing. God has a distinct plan and timeline for each of us, and He will never rush us in His guidance. The key is to exercise patience and trust that He will reveal His will at the right moment. Although we may encounter moments of loneliness or a desire to seek a relationship immediately, we must recognize that God's preparation can take time. Patience and waiting will enable us to be ready to recognize the partner God has chosen for us at the perfect time. During this time, we need to keep growing and working alongside God in every area of our life. Third, delving into the Bible is the most crucial way to recognize God's guidance about a spouse and decisions in our lives. The Bible is not merely a religious book, but a perennial source of guidance that helps us understand God's will in every aspect of life. God selected the Bible to communicate His word to us in this age, and through it, He will lead us. When we neglect the Bible, it becomes challenging to recognize what God is directing us to do, as He has left clear guidance on relationships, marriage, and living a life of faith. Therefore, immersing ourselves in the teachings of the Bible and applying them is essential to discerning God's direction regarding our spouse. By following His principles, we prepare our hearts to receive the guidance God wishes to impart to us. I trust that you found this video both insightful and encouraging. Thank you for being with us today. Please don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section. May God's blessings overflow in your life and your families. See you in the next video.